Hey buddies, welcome to another Brazilian Buddy Show. My name is Andrey and I'm here to prove to you that Brazil is more than samba, football and carnival. Today we have Shari. So Shari, how are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Another episode. And first of all, I always like to ask, who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? Ooh, okay. I guess that starts with my age. I'm not sure. I'm 26, and I guess what I do for my job, I do digital marketing. I actually work for my parents' company. They have like a skin cream company, and I create the emails. I talk to customers, blah 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 blah. And then on the side, I have a YouTube channel, which I'm still kind of figuring out which direction it is going in. It's constantly evolving, but mostly it's just about me reacting to Brazilian things or talking about my experiences with Brazil. And sometimes I mix in other cultures, but mostly that's what it's about. Check it out. It's just my name, Shari Azama. Shariazama. Subscribe. What else do I do? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to me.
And I really want to hear those stories. I know that they have a lot of videos reacting some comedians and cities, right? So how does it start? The beginning of your journey, that relation between Brazil and you.
I think 2012. 2012 is kind of when it started. I I went to Japan for a religious event, but it was an international event, and so people from all different countries, including Brazil, and this group of Brazilians came. Brazilian members from my church came, and I had never really met Brazilians before because I actually don't know why. I mean, I live in LA and like people from everywhere in the world lives here, but I hadn't ever really met Brazilians. And so I just remember like when I saw them kind of amongst themselves hanging out, they just had this energy that really attracted me. I was just like, wow, like so vibrant, so happy, so living in the moment. And most of them actually didn't really speak English, so I didn't really get to connect on that level with them. But you know how Brazilians are. I mean, you're Brazilian, so you know it's just like, hey, other human being, like let's hang out, let's play music together. There's this specific memory I have where it was like a break time in between the events at this place, and they just grabbed like random objects and made them into instruments. They had like a juice can and they put some beads or something in it, and they started making a shaker. Somebody
Okay.
had like, yeah, somebody had like a bucket or something, and then they made it into a drums, and out of nowhere we're like having a drum circle and people are dancing, and it was magical, and I really loved it. And basically from that point on, I was like, wow, these people are incredible. I want to learn how to speak their language. I want to be able to connect with them next time I get a chance to meet them. So basically, the minute I got home, I looked up a professor to teach me, and that's kind of when it started. I started taking Portuguese lessons from there.
That's really really fun to hear. And a Brazilian tip: if you hear around the world a human like clapping or trying to use anything as an instrument, a musical instrument, 100% he's Brazilian because we are all the time, making music and trying to put some samba vibe on it. And yeah, there is a Brazilian.
Yeah, that's how you know. Yeah,
Exactly.
it
And
makes
it was easy to learn the language. What do you think? Because actually she speaks Portuguese and fluent without accent, from American accent. Actually you put a lot of real accent, and I think it's awesome putting slangs as well. So how was it for you?
beginning. I think. Well, I think like learning languages kind of goes in peaks and valleys. Like in the beginning, at least for me, it was like I learned the basics really quickly. And then after that, the hard part of learning vocabulary and like more complex sentence structures came. But I would say overall, I think I was just so into the language. Like I loved how it sounded. I don't know, there's just something about it that attracted me to the language. And so I think because of that, I just started learning really fast. So I feel like it was easier for me to learn than like we were talking about before Japanese. Like Japanese, I've been learning my whole life, and it's still basic things are kind of hard for me to understand. But Portuguese was like right away. So I feel like it was easy in the beginning.
Did you notice that we have some Japanese words that came from Portuguese, like
I've heard
pan,
that.
I think?
Which
Yeah,
one?
I think it's
Oh
pan.
yeah, like pang. We say pang
Y-
for bread. Pang.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I
and we
wasn't
say pão.
sure. So it's from Japan? Is like you mean like when the Japanese immigrants came? That's when. But you guys had to
Yeah,
have had the word pang before Japanese came, right?
yeah. I was, studying that part of, relations between Japan and Brazil, and I found what Portuguese people, I think like 15, 20. It was a time that they were like exploring the world with
Mm.
the vessels, etc. And they went to Japan. They started to have, some commercial relations, and I don't know. They put that Portuguese influence inside of the vocabulary, so that's why you have pão, you have other words. I think umbrella as well. I just don't remember how to say
In
in
Japanese,
Japanese.
Japanese it's kasa.
Casa.
Yeah, kasa.
Well, you have casa. It's almost
Yeah.
the same. Yeah. And I know that you have like we have guarda-chuva, and
Uh-huh.
in Japanese is something similar. I just don't remember.
Mm.
And we have that relation, and then I think between 1870, I'm not sure, we closed an agreement with Japan, so they brought some immigrants and started that relation that we have. We have almost 2 million people, like descendants and Japanese people in Brazil. We have a lot of influence from Japan, and I don't know if you felt this inside of the language. Maybe no, I don't know.
Oh, the
What do you think?
similarities between Japanese and Portuguese?
Yes, some words.
Not really. And like I've had people tell me though, like, oh, did you know there's some language like Japanese is in Portuguese? And I'm like, really? What word? Because I'd never made that connection, but it's pretty interesting learning about it.
So we have some words from Japanese language, for example, kimono, sake, geisha, what else? Jiu-jitsu, of course,
Mm.
judo, in our way to speak, karate,
Karaoke.
for example, karaoke, exactly,
Uh-huh.
universal language. And we have that relation between BJJ, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I think that a Brazilian go to Japan, learned Jiu-Jitsu, and brought to Brazil, and we have
Oh,
like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we have a lot of connections
wow. I
with the
never
other side of
knew.
the world.
I never knew
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu came from Japan. I think most people probably think this like it's just Brazilian, like they came up with it. But that's really cool. I had no idea. Because the only Japanese martial arts that I know are like karate and then the judo, right?
judo.
Yeah, there's
Hmm.
probably other ones, but those are the only ones I know that are Japanese. Well, that's interesting though.
Yeah, a lot. That's why I'm here. Like I like to search, those relations between the countries, and you have, a blooded on it. So I like to introduce this to you. And you probably know about Liberdade neighborhood, the neighborhood that we have in São Paulo, and you have a lot of things related to Japan, like a museum and a Buddhist temple. It's awesome there. Like what else? Thailand, Chinese, even Korean cuisine. I don't know if you heard it before.
For that they have it there.
Yeah, in this area of
Oh,
São
okay.
Paulo.
No, yeah, I only went when I went for one day for just a few hours, like to have lunch, but I didn't stay because that was the day I was leaving. So the program ended, hung out one day in Liberdade, and then I left. So I actually haven't hung around a lot, but that's pretty cool. So they kind of have a mix of all these different Asian cultures in there, but mostly Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. But I want to go to like I want to visit all the states in Brazil. There's so much, like Brazil is huge. I want to go everywhere. I'm trying to make it a goal, like every year try and visit a different state. I don't know when that will be, and maybe next year. But that's my goal. I want to visit everywhere.
Yeah, and it is as well for me. I visited, I think, I always forget, like 17, 16 states for now. And as you said, you have a lot of different places, and I will do a video talking about that, because we have, how can I say, natural beauties in the north, in the northeast, in the
Hmm.
south. and as my mission, like to show the Brazil, the real Brazil. And I know that you were in obvious places, but I like to ask, how was that experience in Rio de Janeiro?
It was really good. I feel very lucky because my girlfriend, she's from Rio, so she could show me kind of how it is for like a local person, and that's how I like to travel. I really don't like going to the popular places, like even Cristo Redentor. I really don't like going to those places. It's just like so many people, and they're just here to take a photo and then leave so that they could post on social media. Like I don't like that, you know. So I feel very blessed that I could go visit my girlfriend, and she showed me all these little places. I mean, they're obviously nice places too, like botanical gardens or
Hmm.
you know, certain beaches and that aren't super touristy, and I really like that. So I think overall, yeah, I had a great time. I don't think I'd want to live in Rio though, because I felt like a little bit of anxiety, and not just because I'm a tourist, but mostly just because it's actually like, you know, my girlfriend was warning me, like, hey, you can't have your cell phone now, you know, like, what are you doing?
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, like, I'm sorry, like here, you know, and I'm sure in other places in Brazil too, I've heard like, it's fine, you know, like you go
Hmm.
walk around and it's no problem. But in Rio, you can't even like sit in an Uber with it out super obviously. You use it and you put it away, otherwise somebody might come snatch it or whatever. And I think just like that kind of like daily anxiety makes me not want to live there. But obviously like visiting, there's so much beauty to see, there's so much culture, and so yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, I think it's nice to say, she was not saying like it's, dangerous, don't go there, but it's like we are Brazilians, we know how to survive, on this
Right.
place, and we have fear like to put you in a situation that you cannot, you know, about it, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you speak Portuguese, you know how to communicate, but at the same time, we have that feeling, it's the problem of the underdog complex. I don't know if you ever heard it before.
What do they call it?
That
Lata, something lata.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, what did I forget the word?
complexo de vira-lata.
Vira-lata, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Totally, yeah, I've seen that on my channel, like hate comments, people kind of coming for me from that standpoint. I understand. I mean, it still hurts like to read those, but I also understand that that's kind of like a thing for some Brazilians, unfortunately.
yeah, and she already told you, like in this kind of feeling, like yeah, but in Miami it's better, or in LA it's better, this kind of stuff.
You mean like she was saying that other places? I thought Vira-lata was when like if I'm Brazilian, then I feel like people think Brazil's not a good place. Like people look down on Brazil, so I have to like protect it even more. That's kind of vira-lata, like national pride, right? Kind of.
Yeah, we think that everything outside of Brazil is better.
Oh, okay, okay. No, she never. I mean, she obviously has her opinions about living in Brazil because well, she lives in Rio, and so I think that's like where there's quite a lot of political unrest. I don't know the politics too much about Brazil, but I definitely know like in Rio, it's pretty intense, especially with the disparity between the rich and the poor and many things I don't even know about. But she doesn't want to live there. Um, but she doesn't necessarily think in the vira-lata way. Like she doesn't think. I think she's just really realistic of like this is what is happening in Rio and in Brazil with everything, and I don't like it, and I want to be here like in the U.S.
Yeah. I already had that feeling, and I know that sometimes we can say that, well, our politics, it's really bad, and in Europe, they are countries, how can I say, with more researchers than here, blah 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 blah. So that's why I'm here. I'm not saying that Brazil is better, but Brazil is huge as well,
Mm-hmm.
as other countries, and it's really up. I really want to put this on video. I think it's important to put it not just from foreigners but Brazilians that are watching us.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you met your girlfriend? Like how are you in a relationship with a Brazilian?
We met through the program I was telling you, which is connected to my
Ah,
church. So she's also a
uh,
member of my church, which is called Perfect Liberty. Yeah, but it's kind of a interesting story because that was in 2020. Yeah, I think 2020, just before pandemic and everything hit. So this because the program happens in January. So yeah, I was there for 2 weeks, and the program is split into two sessions. So like the first 2 weeks and the last 2 weeks. So you can either stay for one or the other, or for the whole month, right? I was there for the first 2 weeks. She was there for the second 2 weeks, but there's like a 2 day overlap between like people leaving and then people coming in, right?
Mhm.
And I guess between those 2, 3 days, I don't know, she noticed me or whatever. She's probably gonna be laughing when she hears this. She's gonna be like, "What are you talking about? You were looking at me." I'm like, "No." But yeah, she noticed me, and I guess she was interested in me. And I'm just fucking from the U.S. and I'm gonna go home, so like whatever. Like I don't, I'm not trying to make relationships like that. But I guess like after I came back, so we didn't even really talk between those 2, 3 days overlap. She messaged me out of nowhere on Instagram, and then we just kind of start talking that way. And we just basically never stopped. Like, we have had like almost no days of not talking, since that. And that was like, a year and a half ago. And then after that, so we were just talking virtually for like a year. And then I visited her back in February to March. And that was like our first time, like actually hanging out and seeing each other after that initial meeting, and it's been going really well. Yeah.
I I already did that craziness. I was talking to a girl for 1 year, and I go to Serbia to meet her.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
I totally understand your situation. Yeah,
And how
totally.
was that, man?
It is a kind of country that probably, I never put on my bucket list to go, but just the exchanging of cultures, I think it's nice, to be in a relationship with a person from another country. You have that same feeling, right? To meet the culture, the language as well. I learned a little bit of Serbian, and it's awesome. I love to do this, even with friends. Meet people around the world, and yeah, I think it's awesome. And another interesting question I like to ask for everybody: differences or similarities between an American relationship. What do you think?
Well, like if I were dating another US American versus dating a Brazilian kind of thing.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny because she's actually my first like official girlfriend. I mean, I've dated a bunch
Hmm.
of people, but it's never really been serious. So I don't have a lot of like experiences with dating other US Americans to compare, but it's interesting because like what's this? So like I graduated college in 2017, right? And then I took like 2 years a break of not wanting to do anything with girls. I just like was like I'm just gonna do me, really enjoy myself, find myself, have a good time, and not try and do anything like that. And then like literally just like maybe 5, 6 months before my trip to Brazil where I met her, I started to get back into dating, right? And I went out with a few girls, but I was just like, there's just it's just kind of boring dating my own people, like dating people from the US. Like I don't know, like I need something different. I need a different flavor in this pie. And then, I met her and I was like, wow, like it's so different and I loved it. Like I loved how you can't guess what the other person's gonna like how they're gonna be, like dating girls here I can kind of guess, especially like I guess like LA culture, like dating culture, it's kind of its own weird thing that I won't even go into, but it's like I can kind of predict like, okay, we're gonna go to a bar, we're gonna have a drink, maybe we'll hook up at the end, and then we'll like text, but we're not gonna really be invested. Like I don't know, it was just weird, right? But then with her, it was just it was different, like she was always willing and wanting to talk to me and reach out. And at first, I think I was a little hesitant. And I don't know if this is like a US American thing. I mean, she says that it is, but I'm just like, I don't know. I think I'm just like, it's kind of hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. It was just, I never knew like what to expect and like in a good way. And I think like, as is pretty well known about Brazilian culture, like it's just very warm and welcoming and very much like open armed, I feel. And that's kind of how it was with her too. So I think that was a big difference because I feel like maybe people here in LA, I can't say all of US because there's so, just like Brazil, so much variety. But here in
Mhm.
LA, it's definitely, and I hear this from people who come from other states who then come to California and specifically LA, and they're like, wow, you guys are like different. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, you guys are like more closed off and like shy or whatever. And I think it's because it's such a big city, you know, like maybe it's like this in Sao Paulo. I've kind of heard some comparisons, but like, you know, I think the bigger and the more people that are in one place, the more the people kind of close off, you know, and they're not as open. So I think that's kind of how it is here, and a little bit that's how it was with my dating experience. So it was definitely nice not having to deal with that when I started talking to my girlfriend.
Yeah, why I like to ask this, because we have like some terms when you are going out with a Brazilian, and probably you know. So, for example, I started to talk with a girl, okay, and we go out, we have fun, and we have something before to be in a relationship, which is ficar, like the term ficar. So I'm ficando with the person, but you're not in a relationship. You're just going out. And then we, you know, sit on the chair and, okay, so we are dating now. How, you know, what's going on? And then we decide, well, let's gonna, you know, date or not. So that's why I like to ask this, because you have this thing in Brazil, and I don't know if you had that, you know, inside of that situation of before to have something and then to be in a relationship.
Do you mean like just getting to know the person, or do you mean like just like hooking up? Well, if you gotta, you know, I don't know if you know the slang hook up. Maybe know it. Yeah.
No, yeah. So
is that what
just
you're talking about? Like people just hooking up without thinking of actually being in a serious relationship?
Yeah.
For sure. You know, I feel like honestly that's kind of a thing of like our generation. I mean, I don't know, maybe past generations did it too, but I feel like, you know, Tinder, all these dating apps, everyone's just like hooking up. And the way I see it too is like everyone's hooking up just saying, oh, I just want to hook up. But low key, they're thinking like, oh, I kind of hope it works out. Like, we'll see. You know, like, I don't know. I think everyone's just like hooking up, having fun. And if there's a stronger connection, then it'll happen. I think they have that here for sure. For sure.
Yeah, but I don't know if you already saw. Have you ever been in a club in Brazil?
No, I haven't. I've been to like karaoke bar. I've been to bars, but I've never been to a club because pandemic hit when in February and March. So, you know, I couldn't. I think they were open, but we didn't go.
Yeah, because some foreigners can get a little bit scared because the things are easier, I think, because sometimes you just look to a girl and she look at you and both smile and that's it. You know, I even ask, wait, what's your name? No, you know,
Wow.
look, and that's it. You know, so
But
and
then you
when
guys at least start dancing, right? Or do you mean you just go home, like you just leave the
no,
club?
like you just go and kiss the girl, like sometimes.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
saying it's not a rule, but yeah, sometimes these things happen, you know.
That's
And
awesome.
I don't know if a foreigner can get, you know, that's too much for me. Like this is too crazy for me, you know. And this is really normal here. Like
Yeah.
you see people kissing all the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think definitely here people are not as open about that. I think like if that happened here, I can easily see it going down like if a guy made eye contact with a girl and he thought like, oh wow, she's so into me and I'm just gonna go walk over there and kiss her. If that happened, he would probably get slapped and she'd be like, assault or something. I mean, I don't know, it depends, I'm sure, but I think at least they would be like, hey, can I buy you a drink? Or like, wow, you're so cute, or say something. But I think there's usually like a little bit of a process before, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
the process happened normal, but sometimes it's just all about feelings, you know. You just go and do the necessary, you know, the obvious thing. And when I already talk to some girls from other countries, I sometimes need to be, you know, in a calm situation to not be rude or something like that, you know, because here it's cultural. Let's say that, like, I'm not saying to be like, hey, come here and kiss, you know. I'm not saying that, but of course you need to talk to a girl, etc. But here the things are more open for these situations, you know.
Yeah, because at least both people are on the same page. That's just
Yeah,
nice
you
for
want?
both.
Yes, you want? Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
Uh-huh.
Of course, no is no, but this happened.
Mm-hmm. I
And
mean, I like that though. I think that's cool.
yeah, I think it's awesome. Like how can I say? I already helped some friends from other countries, like because some girls can see like, interesting, like from another country, nice.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know. Probably you have this in US. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think like especially Brazilians, like it's like, oh wow, you're from Brazil? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the curiosity is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Shari.
I mean, you can say Shari too. It doesn't matter. That would be like
In my
a Brazilian
accent,
accent. Yeah,
In my
Shari.
accent, Shari.
Oh.
Yeah, Shari from the Northeast. Shari, thank you so much. It was really interesting to talk about Brazil and experiences that you had here. Thank you so much. Do you have anything to say for the foreigners, for the listeners?
I guess go to Brazil if you haven't. It's fucking awesome. Talk to Andre here because he knows all about whatever you want to know about Brazil that's not commonly known. Like you said, Brazil is much more than just samba, football, and what was the last thing you said?
Carnival.
Yes, and it's out there. It's out there. You just gotta discover. And if you're learning Portuguese, keep learning. Don't give up. Don't give up. It's a beautiful language, beautiful culture, and yes, even though Brazilians will accept you even if you don't speak their language, when you do speak their language, it's a whole nother thing. So for those learning Portuguese out there, good job to you. And also visit my channel, Shari Azama.
Yeah.
Subscribe, check it out. Or you can message me on Instagram, which is also my name, Shari Azama. And yeah, thanks for having me on this show, Andre. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you speak Portuguese there, right? So if you wanna learn Portuguese, go in her channel. And of course, you have some videos in Rio, right? Some vlogs.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and a quick tip of a Portuguese learner. What do you think? Like, well, listen music. I don't know.
Well, get a partner that's Brazilian and you'll learn really quick. But I think for me, like before I had my girlfriend, my main thing that I love doing, so I love reading, and so what I do is I get a book that's written in Portuguese and I just read it, and it's a slow read. Obviously, I'm not going to read it in like not even a month. It'll take longer, but I go through it. I underline the words that I don't know. I look them up, and I just go through the whole book that way, and that helps. And as I'm reading out loud, so I practice with the accent and ease of speaking. So that's my tip anyway that I recommend.
Be in a relationship with a Brazilian.
Yeah, go on Tinder and put the filter on Brazilians only.
I'm single, so
Hey, there you go. There we go.
you can learn faster. Yeah, that's it. I hope you like it, guys, and I'll see you on the next episode. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ai, ai.